All right, Columbus, Ohio. How y'all doing? All right, I'm sorry. I'm old. I can't hear. I'm going to say that again. How y'all doing? All right, that's a whole lot better. We want to thank all of you for joining us for the 10th anniversary. I can't believe it's been 10 years. The 10th anniversary of the unveiling of the Longstreet Bridge and Cultural Wall. Okay, so how many of you were actually here for the unveiling 10 years ago? I remember seeing you. I saw you. You weren't even living here then, so you don't know. And some of these people back here, I'm not quite sure who they are. But that was a monumental event. So glad to have you back, and we welcome those of you who were here. We welcome you back. Those of you who are here for the first time, we'll see you in another 10 years. I'm supposed to say, and I am a techno dinosaur, so I hope I do this right. I'm supposed to say, make sure that you use all your social media stuff and do #Brown Longstreet Bridge Cultural Wall. Did I do that right, Rolanda? #Brown, what? Are you sure? That doesn't make sense. Okay, whatever. I'm hungry. Can you tell I'm hungry? Y'all gonna feed me after this. Y'all gonna feed. We have a lot of special guests here to help us celebrate. We have political leaders, of course. We have community leaders. We have local artists. And we are also going to honor the curators of this wall, the people who were instrumental in creating and developing this historic monument. But before we get to this, please welcome Eddie Bayard, who will perform Lift Every Voice and Sing. think we had a little bit of church up in here just then. Let's hear it one more time for Eddie Bayard. Eddie. And while we are in a musical frame of mind, one of our local high school bands is going to perform a number for us. Now, the name is right on the tip of my tongue. It's not North. It's not even there anymore. It's not West. It's not my beloved South High School, Bulldogs. Oh, yeah, it's like right up the street over here somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marching Tigers of East High School.
Nigel, where you going? Let's go crank some. Let's have fun. One, two, and...
All right, let's hear it for the Marching Tigers of East High School. So I was in the band at South, and we hated when we had to play football games at East because we knew we were just going to be showed out. You know, I would pretend to be sick so I didn't have to come behind that. But I have to say that even though I am a very proud South High Bulldog, that both my mama and my daddy were East High Tigers. So I got Tiger blood in me. You know, my sisters and my brother and I were here for the ceremony 10 years ago, and for the last 10 years, I've had to listen to them tease me about my big head on the wall. Why is your head bigger than everybody else's? Huh? Why? Now, I think they're proud of me, but I'm not absolutely sure because they haven't said anything positive about the fact that my big head is on the wall. My mother grew up in this neighborhood, Poindexter Village. My sisters and I spent the early part of our childhood also in Poindexter. And I remember this street, Long Street, Mount Vernon Avenue, when it was jumping. This was Black Columbus. I remember the Cameo Theater. I remember Spicer's Furniture. I remember Sandy's, the best hamburgers in town. Best hamburgers in town. And I remember watching my mother get dressed up on Friday and Saturday night so that she could go to the Macon. And I was young. I didn't know what the Macon was. I thought it was Disneyland. I had no idea. But I couldn't wait to turn 21 so that I could go to the Macon and have an adult beverage to honor my mama. And until they closed down, I did it often. We were very blessed to be children of this neighborhood. Very blessed. And those of you who grew up here, you know exactly what I mean because it takes a village. And this village raised me. This village raised me. And I think I turned out okay. Did I do okay, Zach? Did I come out okay? All right. Now, our first special guest, and we have several of them, but our first special guest is also a Columbus kid. I think Whetstone? Whetstone, okay. He's throwing up gang signs back here. I'm not sure what he's doing. He went to Whetstone High School, which is right in my neighborhood because I'm in Clintonville now. Ladies and gentlemen, another Columbus kid, the mayor of the great city of Columbus, the one and only, Andrew Ginther. Where are you? Oh, you sneaked up.
Thank you, Angela. Good morning, Columbus. Well, I guess it's noon now, so good noon, Columbus. How about those East Tigers? Weren't they fabulous? And that's a lot for a Whetstone Brave to give some love to some East Tigers, but I know it's good when I see good, and they are doing so many great things in this community. It's a great day to be joined by so many partners and colleagues and everybody that helped make this incredible project happen. It also represents what makes our community so special, and that is collaboration and partnerships. You think about it, 10 years ago, the city of Columbus, MORPC, the Department of Transportation came together to invest $12.5 million along this corridor. More than that, we invited the community, our neighbors in this area, to weigh in and help create our vision for the enhancements that would ultimately emerge on this site. A grassroots effort was born, one that helped us right the wrongs of the past. When I-71 was built and severed King, Lincoln, Bronzeville from the progress and prosperity that would go on to flourish downtown. At its core, this project was about bridging the gap and closing the divide, helping to restore a vital and historic neighborhood while putting in place new connections that never should have been lost in the first place. This project was on the cover of the U.S. Department of Transportation's annual report just a few years ago as one of the best examples of restorative infrastructure in America. We did that. Columbus did that. And you think about everything that has happened since. Nearby, we have Batiste, the Ginther family's florist, a family-owned business with an impressive 8 decades of success under its belt. Adelphi Quarter, which offers a range of apartments and living options, including studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom units, housing that our region needs and that our residents can afford. We also have Adelphi Bank, which made history last year when it opened its doors as the first Black-owned bank in Ohio. Not to mention all the wonderful restaurants, cafes, and galleries that make living in this neighborhood so special. It's not too often that the former mayor and I get to appear at events together to talk about the great work that he started, that we've been able to realize, and it is a great tribute to his legacy of service. Former Mayor Michael Coleman was the longest-serving mayor in our city's history. This was a critically important project for him. And so today, as we celebrate 10 years of this project, we celebrate the legacy of former Mayor Michael B. Coleman. Please welcome him up.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's go back 10 years ago on this very site. 3,000 people came to the unveiling of this marvelous cultural wall and bridge. What a symbolic effort that was then and continues to be today. One of the most important priorities I had as a mayor of the City of Columbus a long time ago now was to make sure that the Near East Side of Columbus was raised up and improved. This street, once the center of community, civics, church, and commerce for black folks, the King Lincoln Bronzeville area of our community went from 64,000 residents to 16,000 residents by the time I was elected in 1999. We went from 80% home ownership to 20% home ownership during that frame of time. And it was something that needed to be corrected, and to the biggest culprit in the decline of this area was the intentional, deliberate injustice of building a massive federal highway right down the middle of our community to separate us, split us from everywhere else, to segregate us from this community, from downtown and everywhere. I felt it was important to connect the disconnected, and the key to that transformation was turning this area from a neglected area to an invested area. And that meant Boyce Saffer, standing right over there, right? The Boyce, right? He was on my staff. Shannon Hardin, where is he? Probably right back here somewhere. I said, guys, we got to reconnect and heal the wound that had been placed here for so long ago. So the community, black folks participated, the state of Ohio, the city collaborated in doing the following: heal the wound of separation and connect the disconnected, honor and celebrate those who made a significant contribution to our city and to the Near East Side. And you see them up along the wall. And you see the most important one, the Queen. Here she is, yes. Right up behind us, Angela Pace. And we wanted to honor and celebrate the past, because if we don't know where we come from, we will never know where we're going. That's why this cultural wall is in place. So this piece of legacy and black history has now become a symbol of our city, a symbol of unity, bringing folks together, connecting up neighborhoods, and challenging us to be better. Ronald Reagan, walls have always played an important part in history. Ronald Reagan famously said about East and West Germany coming together, tear down that wall. Donald Trump famously said when he was trying to divide Mexico from the United States, build up that wall. Well, my challenge to you today is that we're not done. We're not done building the cultural wall. We only got one side of the bridge done. There's another side of the bridge that needs to be done. And a challenge to our leaders and our community today is to continue to unite, continue to celebrate the history and the culture of the black community, and build that wall on the other side of our bridge. God bless you. Thank you. Oh, I got a couple folks to recognize as well. Let me pull out my notes. This bridge was designed by Larry Winston Collins, who's here, and Kojo. His widow is here, and so glad to see her. We're going to honor them later. This represents 139 images honoring 142 people, places, and institutions. It features 10 sections honoring west to east churches, theaters, music, dance artists, authors, education, business, sports, and public service. And I want to recognize today those who are on the wall. I want to see you stand up right now or raise your hand. Right over here. Right over here. Look at you. I love you. You're a part of the city's cultural history that unites us. So part of that unity, and one day this gentleman is going to be on the cultural wall as well, Shannon Hardin, the president of Columbus City Council. I'd like him to come up here. 10 years ago, he was on my staff working to make this work, along with Boyce Safford over there. And here he is today, actually at a microphone. We made sure he didn't get no microphone back then. Come on up here, Shannon.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's give it up for the forever mayor, Mayor Michael B. Coleman. He was giving me flattering remarks because you just heard that we have to fund the other side of the bridge. And so let me be the first to solicit Ice Miller and Mayor Coleman for funding. So we're all in. We are building that wall.
Get my credit card. Here you go, my credit card.
I do want to thank Mayor Ginther and Mayor Coleman for their leadership and for their remarks here as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of this historic wall. The last time that I was here at the wall, I was talking about this November's CODA levy and the Link Us plan to build high-capacity transit across Columbus. I spoke about how I see the plan as a way to reconnect communities torn apart by highways, by segregation, by redlining, and by other urban planning sins of our past, like this bridge was. That Link Us plan is a 20-year build-out. And as excited as I am to champion it, the truth is, with a project that big, it will be my son and your children who will grow up in a better Columbus because of it. But that's what it means to undertake anything big and bold. It is one generation's gifting something better to the next. And to me, that's what all this symbolizes. That the Columbus that we live in today is the fruit of the seeds planted by leaders long, long ago, not just as infrastructure, but literally reuniting downtown and the Near East Side, but also in the pioneers featured in the art, how it is a monument itself to the leaders whose shoulders we all stand on. I helped work on this project back when I worked for Mayor Coleman, and I'm very proud of that. We built a 30-member advisory committee, and I want to take a minute to recognize the person who led that committee, and in my humble opinion, she should be on the wall, in the next wall, and that was Danny Palmore. It was Danny Palmore. It was Danny Palmore who led this work. She and other respected leaders from neighborhoods, from the city, from major cultural institutions, they each brought their perspective and their expertise in art and local history. And the group was committed, meeting monthly to discuss the design of the wall. And based on public input, the advisory group unanimously recommended that the artists Kojo and Larry Winston Collins build it. It was Kojo's last project, one of his last projects as he passed away later in 2016. But together they designed what was then the only cultural wall in Ohio. And one thing we have realized early on was that there were far too many incredible African Americans who had shaped this community to be featured on one wall. So instead, we would sample contributions from young and old, representing the past and the present, who made impact within the 10 themes that the artist selected to highlight, that being the faith community, theater, music, dance, artists, authors, education, business, sports, and public service. Ultimately, the wall featured 139 images honoring 142 people, places, and institutions, past and present, who have made an impact. So as we go forward today, we should each ask ourselves, what seeds are we planting today for the next generation to harvest tomorrow? And make sure that we are building a truly more equitable city, and that is Columbus. It is now my honor to introduce my friend, my twin, and my co-conspirator for good at the county, Kevin Boyce.
Good afternoon, Columbus. On behalf of the Franklin County Commissioners, my name is Kevin Boyce. I'm the president of the board. But on behalf of my colleagues, Erica Crawley and John O'Grady, it's really my honor and pleasure to stand before you for just a few brief moments today. I know it's hot, so I'm going to be quick. The thing, I was trying to think of something to say, so I threw away my notes and said, let me just kind of go from the heart. One, let me just recognize all of the elected officials that are here today. I see City Attorney Zach Klein. I see Treasurer Cheryl Brooks Sullivan. Are there any other elected officials that I missed? No? Okay, good. Give them a round of applause for me real quick. These kinds of projects takes a village to do, and they're a part of it one way or another. So, the easiest way to think about this is that humanity is all about history. And the history that we write tells a story. History can be global, but it can also be as minute as an individual. And so today we honor and celebrate those who are on this wall for their contributions as individuals, but for the greater cause of this great community. Whether you are a dance teacher, whether you are a coach at a high school, a politician, or a community activist, your contribution is a part of the legacy and the rich history of Central Ohio. But more importantly, and I think Mayor Coleman said this, but I'll add to it, more importantly, we can recognize the past and celebrate the history, but it's so easy also to just look down this corridor and see the future. Just a few short years ago, there were no condos or new apartments. There was no flower store or law firms, and certainly there was not a Black-owned bank. But today there is, because this bridge is not just a symbol of a pathway to the future, but it is our key to the legacy of what each of us can do to make Central Ohio the greatest place in America to live, work, and raise your family. And so with that, to all of the honorees and to all of the folks who had a hand in bringing this to life, I want to thank you. Thank you for helping to write our history for Central Ohio. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce Jack Marchbanks, representing Mike DeWine, and he is our Director of Transportation. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. It is a blessing to be here, to stand in front of you and everyone who has worked on this project. I was just telling former Mayor Michael Coleman that we, over 20 years ago, met around the Near East Side with the Nearest Area Commission, all of the local folks who were interested in this project, to have a visioning session. So here we are, 20 years later, celebrating 10 years of the Long Street Bridge Cultural Wall. I am so thankful for our entire team. I see Chris Herman over there of MKSK, our ODOT team led by Tom Slack when they were working on this, and of course our great artists, the late Kojo Kamal and Larry Winston Collins, who's still with us. What I am most proud of is that ODOT and Department of Transportation we've turned it around from being an adversary to the community to being an ally of the community. We will work with this community and all communities around the state to build back better. We can't unring the bell, as Mayor Coleman and Shannon have pointed out, some awful things happened 65 years ago when the Department of Federal Highway Administration, along with state and local governments, routed urban interstates through black communities. But we can build back better, and we will. And this fantastic monument to infrastructure going into the middle of this century is an example of what we can do when we work together. It is really, really something that we're so grateful about, to be part of something that the entire state, there are other cities that wish they had a long street bridge cultural wall. But Columbus did it first, Mayor Ginther, and we're going to continue to do great things with local great allies like the City of Columbus and local communities such as this. Thank you. I have one more thing to do. I have to introduce Executive Director William Murdoch of the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission. William.
Thank you, Director Marchbanks. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm William Murdoch from the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission. You know that our friends call us MORPC. And on behalf of our team and our board and our chair people, we are honored to be here as a part of this project. If you know MORPC, we work with 88 communities, Columbus, Franklin County, and more in 15 counties on housing and transportation and getting ready for growth. And we're really excited about this project. Do you know Central Ohio is going to grow to over 3 million people by 2050? Have you heard this? Growth for growth's sake is not good enough. We have to do better because we know that in our work, when we plan and invest today, growth can fix mistakes. A lot of people talked about the mistake of what this highway did. We can fix those past mistakes and we can lift everybody up. And today's a momentous occasion because in the Opportunity City, we get to celebrate the 10th anniversary of a project that embodies exactly what we're talking about, a community not just growing bigger, but one that's growing better. The story of the Long Street Bridge is part of a larger, long overdue national conversation on healing neighborhoods that have been divided by highways and divided by infrastructure. And it takes hard work to undo that. And when you look back 10 years ago, you've heard about all the partners. It took collaboration and hard work when the city and the state and the region and the business community and the neighborhood came together and funded $12 million to make this happen in a way that really enhances the bridge and honors the community. And I want you to think about this. The whole region came together to do this. Communities all across Central Ohio wanted to invest here because this wasn't just about improving a road. It really began the tough work of mending the neighborhood fabric at the heart of our region with honor and celebration, and we are so proud of everybody's efforts. This wall stands as a testament to the 142 individuals and organizations who shape our community. It honors the past while inspiring the future and contributing to our shared story as a community. And like others had said, this wasn't just planners coming up with this. This was an intense conversation with the community, listening. How can we honor the past? How can we honor the present and plan for the future? And what you have is a national example, first of its kind cultural wall and pedestrian-friendly bridge that reconnects this neighborhood and creates new energy for economic development. You can see it over my right side there. This is also a great example of how transportation can heal a community and improve it. Just look around. This is what's called complete streets, wide sidewalks, bike lanes, on-street parking. We've got sustainability with green caps and planters, and it helped quality of life by honoring art and history and music and giving a space for community events. And I tell you, what's really exciting about this is this lays out a path for our future. If you don't know it, we do the regional transportation plan for the whole region of Central Ohio. And this bridge inspired our board to make the largest investment ever in the spring to do more projects like this: transit, trails, safer transportation, improving our community. And the biggest example, and I'm going to finish with this, the biggest example is the commitment of our region to Link Us. This is a collaborative, transformative plan. more CODA, more opportunity, and historic investments in trails and sidewalks. And just as the Longstreet Bridge does right here, when LinkUs moves forward, the LinkUs will reconnect communities and add to our quality of life over the whole region. This is really inspiring, but I tell you, the tough work is just beginning. Before I finish, I want to extend our gratitude to the speakers, the musicians, the high school marching band, Angela Pace, everybody who volunteered to make this happen, and especially my team at Morpsey. And I don't know where she is. Rolanda Hampton, where are you? She had the vision and the leadership to pull all of this together. Let's give Rolanda a round of applause. We're so lucky to have her. I can't wait to see what she does next. Today's an example of what we can accomplish when we work together and lift everyone up as we grow. So I'm looking forward to the work ahead, and I'm even more looking forward to introducing our next speaker, who needs no introduction. She's inspiring, she's amazing. She is the president and CEO of the Columbus Urban League, Stephanie Hightower. Let's welcome her.
The DJ told me to slow walk up here so the music can be played. So that's why I was taking my time. Good afternoon. All right, Angela's back here fussing at me. So I'm going to speak as your neighborhood Columbus Urban League. And I'm going to reiterate some of the remarks that were already said, especially by Mayor Coleman and Mayor Ginther, about what happened when the freeway came through. And I want to start off by saying there are times when what divides us takes physical shape and form. Our separateness takes on a visible, tangible form, a barrier to achieving an inclusive economy, a snub instead of a welcome, and a symbol of exclusion rather than an invitation to belong. And there are also times when when what divides us isn't embodied, when the barrier exists more in our mind than our sight. Then along came, in 1960s and 70s, as it was said, the freeways came and dissected and devastated the Near East Side. And while the freeways were intended to advance our region, they also did much damage. They severed the connection between the Near East Side and downtown, turning the heart of the Near East economically and socially. However, now we stand here today on this physical symbol of unity, and let us also rededicate today ourselves to dissolving all the barriers that keep us from reconnecting with all of our neighbors in every neighborhood. So now it is my honor to recognize our legendary celebrity genius photographer, Kojo Kamal. And is Kenya Jones here? No, he's not here. Is Kenya Jones here, his son? Okay, we'll have to get this. But let me just, the wall says a lot here about our beloved Kojo. But just a reminder, Kojo was born October 11th, 1939 in Columbus, Ohio. He became interested in photography at an early age and bought his first camera when he was a teenager. He graduated from East High School, right, in 1957, and went on to study at the Columbus Art School, now known as Columbus College of Art and Design. Kojo was recognized numerous times for his photography and commitment to the community, not only locally, but also nationally. Thus, he was chosen as one of the premier photographers of the Cultural Wall, and several of his photos were used during this creation. He also received numerous awards and was a member of several local organizations. Kojo passed away on December 12th, 2016, at the young age of 77. May we remember his legacy and impact on our community. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure, and we do have an award here that we will get to his son. Now it is my pleasure to recognize my neighbor and friend, the executive director and CEO of the King Arts Complex, Demetrius Neely.
Thank you, Stephanie. So I'm here just to say a few words about the King Arts Complex and to recognize the exquisite Ms. Betty Stahl, but a little bit about the King Arts Complex and some things that you may not know. Did you know that originally this street was supposed to be MLK Boulevard? And that was actually passed by the city council back in the early 80s. But there were businesses downtown on Long Street that didn't like that. And they complained with things like, well, we have to change our letterhead and we'll have to change our business cards. And they went to city council and protested. And this wise member of city council, the president, Mr. Jerry Hammond, said, okay, we'll build a King Center. And thus the King Arts Complex. Envisioned in 1982 and opened in 1987. But one of the major contributors of the King Arts Complex and this culture wall was Miss Betty Stahl. Miss Betty, give her a round of applause, y'all. Give her a round of applause, y'all. She's still doing it, and she's like 94 years old. So please, let's recognize Miss Betty. Yes. She is the visionary behind the art. So Miss Betty was born in Wheeling, West Virginia. She moved here as a teenager, and shortly thereafter, she began working for the Recreation and Parks Department, where she worked for about 30 years. She was a curator, and she was an arts educator. After retiring from the Recreation and Parks Department, Ms. Betty came to the King Arts Complex and blessed us. And she worked there for a number of years, and after retiring, she stayed on as a consultant. While at the King Arts Complex, she formed a lot of youth education programs, and she is a founder of the Elijah Pierce Gallery. And if you're an artist, you've probably shown your work in the Elijah Pierce Gallery, so we have her to thank for that. She helped us with a lot of things at the King Arts Complex. She was a force, and she is known for all of her art. She's received many, many, many awards, but one of them was the prestigious Greater Columbus Arts Council Arts Educator Award. So for Miss Betty and all that she has meant to us, and she's affectionately known by us as Miss Betty because that's who she just was. You wouldn't just refer to Betty Stahl as Betty Stahl. She had to be Miss Betty. And Javon and I could tell you a lot of stories, but we won't do that because Angela told me to keep it short. And you know, I follow what Angela Pace tells me to do. But having said that, we have this beautiful award for her. And if she were here today, I think we can forgive her being 94 plus, not being out here in this hot sun. But we have this beautiful award for her. And we have some words that she has written that will be presented by my good friend, cohort, sometimes partner in crime, leader, president, and CEO of the Lincoln Theater, Ms. Susan Bradford. Susan?
You guys have been so kind in weathering this heat. But good things happen in the heat. I just wanted to say to you that Miss Betty Stahl shares her regards here and also wanted to ask me to say a few words. I am deeply appreciative of this honor. The award serves as a reminder of the amazing people that I had the privilege to work with. It took a team of ODOT and the Advisory Council Committee and civic and community leaders such as Maria Keister, Engagement Public Affairs President, the late Danny Palmore, Policy Works, and the late Kojo Kamau, photographer and artist Larry Collins, to design Art Culture Wall, one of its kind in Ohio. The Culture Wall is a reflection of many people, places, and institutions. Some imagined are well known and some are not. Yet each contribution to the culture that shapes the lives of people on the east side and in the city of the King Lincoln District and Bronzeville. The photography and wood cut informs and shapes the understanding of our culture. This selection of panels represents the culture, the 5 oldest Black churches, theater, authors, artists, music, dance, education, business, sports, and public service, visually connecting our neighborhoods. Now is the time to complete the other side. and with those panels that honor some of our first. Black leaders who paved the way in our city and state government, the judges, the civil rights leaders, higher education, the chief of police and fire departments, architecture, medicine, aviation, and transportation. Respectfully submitted on behalf of Betty J. Stahl. All the ones that have gone before me have spoke about this district and the Lincoln Theater, and all the institutions are here that grow our city. The arts are the bookends for any neighborhood, and it brings the essence of the neighborhood together. The visionaries of this wall was given to our honorees, and what they created is evergreen. Again, Betty Stahl for curating this piece, along with Kojo and Larry, who was equally chosen to do this work. And Larry Collins gave honor to Kojo and asked Kojo, could they do this work together? I ask that Larry Collins come to the stage, please. Larry Winston was born in Cincinnati, and he attended Columbus College of Art and Design. Before pursuing a career of fine arts, Collins worked as a graphic designer, and Collins was also an educator and a retired professor emeritus from Miami University. Collins has received many awards, including the grants from the Ohio and Greater Columbus Arts Council, and Collins was in many private and public collections, including the Pizzuti Art Collection and the Columbus Art Museum, and more. I give you Larry Collins.
All right, thank you. I'd like to thank the City of Columbus, all the city officials, and everyone that was involved with creating the wall. When I was called and told that this was going to be the 10th year anniversary, I was like, wow, it's been 10 years already. But it's great to see that people are still appreciating the wall. I was here not too long ago to go to the Jazz and Reel Fest, and I drove past the wall, and there were some people parked out here actually looking at the wall. So I was glad to see that people are still appreciating the wall and that they still have a yearning to actually come and check out the images and all the hard work that Kojo and I actually put into creating this wall of culture. So I thank you for this award, and thank you very much.
So I have the honor to close the event. As I said before, the arts are the bookends of any community and neighborhood. So we have the Chasan West African Dance Institute here with us today to close out our program. They are resident arts groups at the Lincoln Theater. So as soon as people walk into this district, they see the culture wall and they're embraced with all the arts and the essence of the Lincoln Theater and this community. Chasan West African Dance Institute. Thank you.
that they're celebrating, what'd you say, Susan, 25 years? 25 years of Chassan. Congratulations. All right, I don't know about y'all, but I'm hot. It's almost time to go. I want to thank everybody for being here. The Longstreet Bridge and Cultural Wall, 10 years old, so still a child, but already a significant part of the history of this city and especially of this neighborhood. I can't tell you, as a child of this neighborhood, I can't tell you how proud I am to have my big head up there. Thank you, Larry Winston Collins, for making my head so big. I appreciate it. But especially to be sharing the wall with so many of my heroes and sheroes, and especially people who I actually knew and were my mentors, people like Jerry Hammond, people like Amos Lynch, Ann Walker, Fran Frazier, Fran's here somewhere, and one of my favorite mentors, the actor Hal Williams, or Hal Roy, as I called him, who dated my Aunt Jean when they were students at East High School, and he used to babysit me, believe it or not. He will admit to that. But this wall means so much, not just to those of us who grew up here or people who have moved here or people who have businesses here. It should mean everything to everybody here in Columbus, because it's neighborhoods like this, whether on the east side, the hilltop, the north side, south side, wherever. This is Columbus, y'all. Even with all the booming, all the boomtown stuff, it's neighborhoods like these and the people and the businesses who live and work in these neighborhoods. We are Columbus. And don't let anybody tell you any different, all right? So thank you all very much. Honoring these neighborhoods is important, because we have to make sure that they survive and thrive and stay alive. So thank you for being here. Enjoy all the vendors who have their little pop-up tents set up here. And I guess there are food trucks somewhere, Rolanda? There are food trucks up where? Thank you, Bruce. There are food trucks down. Oh, those! I tell you, I'm hot and I'm hungry. There are food trucks right here. We want to make sure that all the speakers come up front to have the pictures taken. Don't forget to hash brown, Longstreet, whatever. You heard me earlier. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great day.